Okay, so are we going to teach them how to turn trash into cash?
I see why not.
Alright, so this program is about how to turn trash into cash, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frederick Zabone. This is Rick Thaler. We don't get any prettier in this, so don't adjust your TV set or your computer. We're going to teach you how to turn trash into cash. Rick has been in the field since he's been a kid. And turning trash into cash is essentially anything that's in your house that's old that you want to throw out is probably valuable to someone. Take it from there, Rick.
Yes. The single biggest thing you want to understand about trash for cash is that everyone has things in their house, garage, basement, a drawer that has some monetary value. The key to cash for trash is to be able to recognize that the things that, starting out with the things that you have in your household, and figuring out what the monetary value is. I deal on a regular basis where people will always look for shortcuts and want someone to tell them what something's worth, how much they can get for it, and they don't understand the premise of you're only going to get out of something what you put into it, essentially, which means if you take the time to learn or understand something, or you research it, and then based upon conditions, availability, and more people tend to use price guides or sites such as eBay or other selling sites to believe that that is the gospel, when the reality side is
I'm going to let him hang himself.
you just have to
okay, but turning trash into cash, here's a perfect example. This is an old Fisher-Price toy. Where did you get this old Fisher-Price toy at?
that came out of a basement of a house. It was just sitting in a box with numerous other things.
And how much did you pay for this?
Well, technically, to break down the cost of that probably was maybe a whole whopping 50 cents based upon what cost factor would have been for the whole entire box.
All right, so there's an example, folks. This is a piece of trash he found downstairs in the basement. It's worth 50 cents. That's what he paid for it. But you know what it's selling for? $42. Now, why is it selling for that much? And will people pay that much for it? Of course they will. He will tell you why. Rick, why will they pay that much for this?
Well, the reason they will is because everyone has a tendency to reacquire childhood or have certain things that we purchase because we feel that when we buy things it makes us feel good. And in that process of feeling good and reacquiring childhood, it's important to us. Now, this particular piece, most people would say, well, who would care about it? There's tons of people who collect Fisher-Price toys. This particular piece at 42 bucks is based upon condition. It has age, it has a little bit of wear, but let's say you find a new old stock Fisher-Price toy and you look at a book and this piece would be about $125 in what was considered new old stock, never disturbed piece.
So this price is less because it's
based on condition
on wear.
and on wear.
Okay.
The interesting thing is, when you're talking about trash for cash, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you like. You have to understand that because all of us see differently, feel differently, and look at things differently, there pretty much anything you can think of, somebody is either collecting it or wants it. We throw as a society away every day things that would make us money. We take, and in the process of this, and everybody currently is complaining about the economy, that boy, I could use $100 to pay this electric bill. I could use this
bottle. Spray can nozzle.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Oh, I did.
And more times than not, people have things in their home that they don't even care about, that's sitting in a box, sitting in a garage, sitting in a shed, okay, that they perceive as junk. They throw
like this, right?
Exactly like this.
Okay, here's a couple examples. This is a bottle. It's just an old soda bottle. I'm sure you've had plenty of those around the house. I'm sure you throw them all out. You probably paid nothing for this. You probably picked
exactly.
You picked this up, but it's worth $6. Somebody will pay $6 for this. This is even more of a piece of junk. It's the nozzle. Can you see this closely? It's the nozzle
off of a garden can.
Off a garden spray can or garden a watering can.
Watering can.
And believe it or not, it has a price of $5. So it's this kind of junk that you can turn into cash. Anything, in fact. So as we go from week to week, you'll see more and more examples of this stuff that some people consider junk, but the people will pay money for it. And we'll tell you the different ways that you can actually, merchandise this stuff, whether it's going to flea markets or through eBay. In addition, you'll see up on the screen shortly our email address. If you have questions about how to turn trash into cash, send your questions to us, and if we like your question, we'll include it in the next episode. So one of the things I see here is this interesting piece here. Could you hold that up for the camera so they can see that? And can you explain why that doll's head's there?
This piece was done in the 1950s, which would have been a kid's toy piece for Indianapolis 500. Now, the reason this doll's head's on there because this toy was played with. That's what it was purchased for someone to play with, not set on a shelf and look all pretty. The head that's on it obviously is not the original head. It would have been a racer's head with the goggles. This is a rubber piece, and it would have been a one piece. Who knows? A dog chewed it off, or the kid broke it off from playing with it. But it's just a really neat piece from someone's childhood. Most people would think this is junk.
And believe it or not, this piece has a street value of $20 retail. And somebody who collects this kind of stuff will pay that price. That's the thing you have to remember. If you have a piece of junk, it's a treasure to someone else, and you can get your price if you're willing to wait long enough. Anyhow, this is our first attempt. We're going to give you our email address. We're keeping this one short. We will get better with each week as we go on. We would like you to send any questions or comments you have into us. And if you happen to be in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, we're located at, what's the address here?
857 South Main Street.
857 South Main Street, and this is the shop called Some Like It Old, as opposed to Some Like It Hot, but sometimes he is hot, but not with me, but with his wife. God. Anyhow, should we give him the phone number or not?
Sure.
No, we might get crank calls.
Oh, no, we better not.
But we will give you our email address. And I said, if you're in Greensburg, this is the place to come. This is Rick Failer. My name is Frederick Zappone, and we're out of here.